everyone, my name is Oishiki. At first I would like to say that please kindly subscribe my channel. So today I am going to read part 11 of Peter Pan. And yes, I would also like to inform that the ones who want to watch Peter Pan part 10, they can get the video link from the description box. So now let's begin with our story. The Return Home. That night the boys slept in pirates' bunks. And the next morning they set off for home with Peter as their captain. Meanwhile, Mr. and Mrs. Darling were still grieving over their lost children. Mr. Darling was sure it was all his fault for chaining up Nana, and to punish him, he slept in Nana's nail. One night he was feeling especially miserable, so he asked Mrs. Darling to play the piano in the room next door to cheer him up. "And please shut the windows," he said. "It is drafty in the nail." "You know, I can't do that, dear," said Mrs. Darling. "The children might come home." But the children were already on their way. They had crossed the sea now and were flying the last bit of their way. Peter and Tinker Bell were ahead of others, as Peter had a plan. When they found the open window and flew in, Peter was going to shut the window so that Wendy would think her mother had forgotten her and go back with him to Neverland. But Mrs. Darling was sitting sadly at the piano with tears tinkling down her face. "She is fond of Wendy too," thought Peter miserably. "We can't both have her. What had I better do?" Then he gave in and said, "Oh, come on, Tink, we will let them in." So Wendy, Michael and John slipped into the nursery. They decided to get into the room and pretend they had never been away. When Mrs. Darling came in and saw the beds were full, she thought it must be a dream. Then the children spoke to her. She put her arms round them, called Mr. Darling, and called Nana. Peter had many strange experiences that other children would never know. But now he was looking through the window at one joy he could never share. The Darlings adopted the lost boys, and Mrs. Darling let Wendy go back to Neverland once a year to help Peter with the spring cleanings. Peter came back to visit Wendy too. He had not had much idea of time, so he did not come every year. Once he left it so long that when he came, Wendy was grown up and had a little girl of her own called Jane. You can guess what happened. Jane wanted to go back with him, and Wendy let her. As Peter never grew up, one year Jane's daughter was one who went. And so it will go on as long as there are children and the Neverland and Peter Pan. So our story ends here. If you liked my today's video, then please like and comment my video, and also subscribe my channel to listen to more such stories and to follow all my videos regularly. And don't forget to click on the bell icon. Thank you.